Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, right. Oh, okay, cool. Sorry. Hey, everyone. This is Ed from LootGo. I'm one of the co-founders. We are building a real-world treasure hunt mobile game available on iOS, Android, and Solana. You can think of us as like a Pokemon Go with crypto rewards. And so today we're talking about how to get your first 100 to 500 users. I guess the disclaimer is that like I am not an expert or anything on marketing. Like I feel like I'm just kind of experimenting as I go along. But yeah, I'll kind of share like my own experience growing LootGo since end of December. Yeah. So what are we? Just to kind of give you some background. So like I said, we're a real world treasure hunting mobile game. So when you download this game, you can get treasure chests for every 1,000 steps you walk, or you can walk towards a treasure chest that's randomly spawned around the player themselves. So you can think of it, if you've ever played like Pokemon Go, you'd be kind of familiar with what it does. So once you open up this treasure chest, there'll be things inside like tokens, NFTs. It could also be off-chain things like whitelist spots for NFTs or access codes, discount codes, etc. And all that is put into your embedded wallet inside the app. And right now, you can then use those tokens, etc., and you can trade with it. But the longer term vision is actually because like we have this sort of end-to-end experience, like we want to also add payments to it, so that you can imagine a retailer wants to put in an incentive to drive foot traffic to a certain location. They get that incentive, and then almost immediately they can use that incentive to go pay and make a purchase, having this sort of like very end-to-end marketing funnel, which I think is very, very interesting, and especially in areas like Asia. Yeah, so our team has been building together for the last 3 years. We met at a hackathon, ETH Global India. I say we, I mean everyone on the team except for me, because I actually did not go, but the other folks met there. But I already knew Yuki at that time. And so since then, we've been building like loyalty and marketing platforms for Japanese enterprises. So these are companies like Japan Airlines, Tokyo Corporation, Koko Uchibanya, like a lot of like the large Japanese companies when they want to work in Web3 or like have some campaigns or experiences with Web3. We've been building those consumer dApp experiences for them. The upside is that we don't really have to worry about distribution and user acquisition because obviously they already have customers. And like all we have to do is focus on building like consumer dApps that are attractive and good experience for those users. But of course, the downside is like, we hadn't really flexed our marketing muscles as much because we didn't really need to. But we did learn a lot, like building in that space. And so because of that, like we decided to build our own consumer dApp. We actually first built on Farcaster something called Check-in. It's like a Web3 Foursquare where users can go to a location and then they can like leave reviews and see if their friends have been to those locations or not. And then from there, we decided that it's actually much stickier as a game if we wanted to build location, crypto, and social. And so LootGo is a spiritual successor to Check-in. So even though we've been only building LootGo for the last, I would say maybe since late December, we have been building many products together for the last like 3 years. We also have an advisor who is a former game designer of Pokemon Go, as well as Axie. So yeah, lots of learnings from there. Yeah, so early 2025, our Solana journey kind of started at Winter Arc with Super Team Japan. So half our team is based in Japan and half our team is based in India. I'm the only Canadian. Yay, proud Canadian. Yeah, I love being in Canada. I was born and raised here. Yeah. And so yeah, like we were very early in our building journey when we first joined at the Startup Village, kind of like the one that Startup Super Team Canada is hosting for the hackathon. And then from there, like yeah, like I mean, it says like it's over 9,000 because we finally had over 9,000 followers on Twitter, which was kind of like like a good start. And I can go into a little bit more about like how we like got those like sort of like top of funnel, like getting those followers, and then like how we onboarded more people. But yeah, that was kind of like quite an experience. I would also say like these like Startup Village experiences like very transformative, and like maybe I'm using too dramatic words, but it's very life changing. And also I think it's all thanks to people not just in Japan but also Canadians. Like Simon, who was in Tokyo, like helping out, like the teams, because Canadians are very generous. We will fly to, halfway around the world to help out, teams and whatnot. So thank you. So yeah, that's kind of like early 2025. And so like from there, we got a lot of feedback from like mentors, and also like attending like workshops like this. And then also more importantly, like, we made a lot of connections with a lot of people who have been really supportive, like from then to even now, in terms of building like our product. So yeah, like where LootGo is today. I guess like, yeah, like today we have about 39,000 users. We have closer to 10,000 DAUs right now. And our D30 retention is over 50%. To kind of give some context, we're 3 times stickier than Pokemon Go for D30 retention, and about 15 times stickier than the average mobile game, which is like definitely all thanks to like the dev team, and also Yuki, one of my co-founders, who's not here because he's sleeping right now because it's like 4 a.m. in Tokyo. And yes, like today, like we've also paid out about $50,000 in rewards, like in the treasure chests. We also won the Coliseum mobile track. And we just did a Solana Seeker campaign this Monday. Thank you, Super Team Canada, for highlighting, as well as Monkey DAO, and all the different partners. But yeah, like all that was accumulation of like all the things that sort of like happened along the way. So yeah, thank you everybody for your support. Yeah, so I think the way that it's designed is that we kind of created this like flywheel, which leads to growth and strong distribution channels. Because I think this flywheel kind of makes sense where the more users, the more partners we can attract, and to put more rewards inside the loot boxes, which attracts more users, which attracts more partners, etc. I think like by having this inside the product, it was a lot easier to attract both partners as well as users, because they can kind of see like, oh, okay, like I understand if I were to participate in this, like this could all like either get like more users for me as like a project, as a sponsor, or like as a user, like I can see how that can get me more rewards. So this is very attractive for me to take part in, right? Because I think at the end of the day, like you have to be able to articulate what your incentive is, and what's in it for the user. Because like even though you have a lot of supporters, like I'm sure many of us have friends who built apps, and they're like, hey, please use this, and we kind of use this for like a day or two, and then if it's not really super compelling, you're probably gonna stop using it, right? Like, to be honest, even if it's like your closest friend. So I think having this sort of foundation is really important before you, I guess, before you like really like accelerate the acquisition. Yeah, and also I think different growth phases require different approaches. So I think when we were 0 to 100 users, we focused more on manual things. So things like DMing people, like having like, hey, like who else would you recommend, for our app, and just having like very one-on-one onboarding. It's probably too small, but like over here, I don't know if people can see my cursor, but it's not as important. But in here, like this was like one of my messages to literally our first user, who is based in Japan. And I guess, sorry, this is not in the slides, but I also want to say like have a better idea of like who your ideal users might be, because we knew that in Japan, like there is definitely like a really I mean, treasure hunting is very familiar across the entire world, like all cultures. But I think, especially in Japan, like treasure hunting and like stamp rallies is extremely big. At any given time, there's literally hundreds of like stamp rallies, like people just going around collecting things, right? I don't know if you guys ever seen like at the train stations, people collect like stamps, right? Like it's a very big cultural thing. Sorry, you have a
I was
question?
walking my dog the other day.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
are those things? Geo something? I found
Oh,
it in the
geocaching?
forest. I literally was
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
forest.
yeah.
I found it in a log. It was
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
video
yeah,
how to
yeah,
actually
yeah,
go
yeah,
treasure
yeah.
hunting.
Yeah. I think it's very like very attractive because like really fun, right? Because like
Yeah.
who doesn't want to like find treasure, right?
Yeah.
So I think like by having like, or at least like our game like being like a real world treasure hunt, like makes it like kind of fun, right? Like to
Right.
participate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and then I think like for us, like the 100 to 1,000 users was more focused on like I say March Madness, but it's kind of like well, yeah, you guys know March Madness, right? Like bracket
Yep.
style competitions and like
College
campaigns. Yeah, I think that's also really important because like now people can participate in something that's greater than just like their own experience. And so here's a screenshot of like me creating Telegram groups for. We actually didn't have March Madness because we were a little bit slow on that. So and then we were gonna do like April Madness, and then we were also late. So our first one is actually May Madness. But anyways, so like we did May Madness, June Madness, August Madness, and September Madness. But every single time, like we had like a different flavor to it and like different refining to the mechanics. And then finally, I think for us, like over 10,000 users was more focused on like ecosystems, like larger campaigns, as well as like tapping into communities. So campaigns being things like, yeah, like this Solana Seeker campaign. And I think the way that we like to do campaigns is like not just like a one shot or like 1 week or 1 day. We want to do like multi-week. So for example, this Solana Seeker campaign, even though we're featured for 1 week, we're actually doing it for 10 weeks. Every single week we feature a different partner. I think maybe because we're kind of like Canadian DNA in this company. Like I think what we like to do is spotlight other people and use sort of like our spotlight to spotlight others. And so I think that also may be helping with like acquisition because now you're kind of aligning incentives and like like you're showcasing your partner, and obviously your partner will want to promote you as well, right? Yeah, and I can get into more details about like the first part. Yeah, and obviously why it's important is you can get good feedback loops with early users. So this guy has been our user since almost like day one, and he continues to send me like long messages for feedback for the product. And then yeah, like we always get like more feedback. A lot of times unsolicited, which is great because then that's what they truly think, right? So when I mean I don't have a screenshot of this PDF, but this guy wrote like 5 pages of feedback after our recent like September Madness competition. It was like, oh great, like that's great. And I think the important part is continuously like be open to incorporating it into the into your product. Yeah, so I guess yeah, we can talk about like how we got our first 100 users. This is a Discord role that we have, which is alpha testers. So yeah, not quite 100, but yeah, like our kind of like first 98 users who have this special role. I guess like some things to consider, and I mean this is by no means like sort of like a rigid framework or something. These are just things that I found was helpful, and a lot of these lessons learned are from like working with my team. Again, I want to credit Yuki because Yuki has always been like very logical and like very thoughtful about things. Like I will be the one who kind of like shouts out like random ideas, and he'll be like, oh, no, that makes no sense. But if we did it this way, that makes more sense. And so I guess like some of the things that we learned that drive growth are things like how do you create like an experience that creates like FOMO? How do you make it like shareable and viral, and how do you make it more social? So FOMO might be things like creating like this like one-time access codes. So we were very intentional about like not providing access to everybody on day one. So we actually like had a goal of like only providing like maybe about 50 users with access like for the first like actually for the first while, because then we noticed that like as we every single week, like as we run these like treasure hunts, every time we run it, we would say like, oh, these are the winners of this week. I mean, it wasn't like that many rewards, obviously, at the very beginning. But when we did that, like people were like, oh, I want to win this too. And always at the end of the thread, we'll be like, oh, here's like, 20 access codes, and then like first come first serve, right? And so like we would always have like very quick engagement to our tweets, like because of that. Yeah, like having limited spots. And then also like I think just creating more shareable moments, like making it easier for people to screenshot like the rewards that they received like from these treasure chests, I think is important. And then also, yes, and also promotion by the reward provider, because like we work with partners who give us rewards, and then they will also promote our game as well. And then in terms of social, yeah, like I think it's always stickier with friends. Like we have this Discord community that we encourage people to join, and then they make friends, throughout there. And then we also encourage people to meet in real life as well, right? So they can play the game together. And then, yeah, events and challenges. Yeah, so phase 0, building hype for LootGo. So this is when we had literally 0 users and we didn't have a product. So what we did was we participated in a pitch competition. And then from there, I guess like because we had some material or some content on X, then we leveraged that to then, try to build up our wait list and our Twitter followers. And so this was like a screenshot of like one of our, well, actually probably our first campaign. I think this was around Christmas last year. And so this was actually our own product, or our previous product that we were building called Beyond Club. And so it was just your simple sort of like, oh, follow, like, retweet these things, and then you can get like a commemorative NFT. And I think like the goal wasn't to directly find users. It was actually more to build up, well, I guess what we would call vanity metrics to like look more legit, right? Like when your Twitter following has like 0 people, then it's kind of hard to convince people to download and join you. And so that was our objective, was growing the Twitter followers, and then even just creating a wait list. And so actually it was kind of cool because like, I mean, AI has come like a very long way, because I created this image in AI, and I have to admit it was pretty shit. But 20,000 people still like really liked it and like got an NFT from it, so that's great. Sorry, not to say that was shit, but like sorry, yeah, you know what I mean. Yeah. But yeah, so I think it's just like, yeah, how do you like, for us that objective was growing our Twitter following more social to like create credibility and legitimacy. Yeah. Yeah, so like our first messages, so yeah, like I had this before. It was just like our first message to Neef, who's like one of our first users. It was just like asking him like, because I know he participated in that campaign, like I asked him like, hey, like, do you want to have an access code, and in return, like like I want to do like a quick user feedback. And so like it's funny because I don't know, it's maybe too small for people like at home, but it does say like, oh, but I don't speak English, like, so would written feedback be okay? And then I responded in my super bad Japanese. So because like we knew like a lot of these users are Japanese, that it like became easier, like, oh, okay, like we can even do like user interviews to find out more on what's attractive to you. And then this was just like a tracker I created for giving out like the user interviews, the invite codes, and yeah, just making sure, like, it was nothing fancy, it was just like a Google spreadsheet. Yeah, so I guess like for specific tactics, so I don't know if you guys know like the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Like it's a, oh, okay, cool, yeah, someone knows, yeah. It's like this like epic that's kind of I guess maybe half fanfic and like half like historical record of like what happened during the Three Kingdoms period. Sorry, I really like that that story. But there's a story about like the strategist Zhuge Liang, who was tasked to make 100,000 arrows for his army, or he would be killed because there's another advisor who was jealous of him and wanted him dead. And so like, I mean, they didn't really have material, and he was kind of just chilling. And what he did have was like straw, right? And so what he did was he built so this says like Three Kingdoms period, and it says straw boats borrowing arrows. And so what he did was he created mannequins and put his country's flag on the boats, and then sailed it close to the enemy during a foggy time, and then the enemies just like sent them like 100,000 arrows, right? And then he just sailed back and then presented them. Not to say that you should be asking your enemies for arrows. So this is why I labeled it LootGo users and friends. But I think one of the strategies that we tried to do was like working with friends and partners. Like these are the sponsoring partners that gave out rewards. And so like because we had no community, we had no users, one of the first things we did was like, how do we approach communities to sort of borrow their users, right? So we asked for rewards that we can put in like the treasure chest. And then so by doing so, like we kind of align the incentive to promote because now they can say like, oh, LootGo has like this this treasure hunt this week and we're being featured. So we want to like promote it to our community. And in return, like, we would give them like, some access codes, etc. And then I think that also helps with credibility because now we're working with like other projects and it just makes like referrals like fairly easy. And then I think, then I think we also did things like community user-generated content. So you can imagine like the treasure chests that we have. We just sort of like ask the community to have like loot box or treasure chest design contests. And in return, we would give them like special roles in Discord, as well as like early access for them, but also their friends. And this created like shareable content because now people would share screenshots of LootGo with their design, and then they tell the world that this is what they designed and why it's really cool. And yeah, just having like access as rewards. We also did amplification like externally. So communities of large distribution channels like Super Team Canada, like Monkey DAO, etc. was also extremely helpful, like to promote and let people know like what we're doing. Again, I think it goes to aligned incentives and communities helping communities, and we'll be forever grateful for that. So thank you. And then also, amplification even within the community. So yeah, like we encourage like amplification from the community with user-generated content. Again, it might be a little bit small for the home viewers, but on the top right is like someone started like a running club with LootGo. And so like we obviously try our best to amplify it. And then early days, like we would try to give them incentives or like extra rewards for running these kind of events to encourage them. And then one of our users created like a t-shirt design, like completely fan made. So we actually have a fan club. And then also like, I think just like encouraging people to like share their achievements. So things like, their X number of day streaks. So Elon here, so not the Elon, but another Elon. I think he's on his, actually he just posted yesterday, he's on his 251st day streak. So he's been playing basically since the beginning of LootGo, and he's super proud of it. And then I think I always see like a lot of people posting their streaks. So about 1,500 people have 10+ day streaks on LootGo, which is kind of cool. And obviously it doesn't include people who accidentally missed it and then had to restart from like 0 as well. So yeah, I guess like things I would do differently or accelerate. And then I guess the two categories are things like how people feel, and then also like how to scale a little bit better. I think for product and design, I would probably design for selfishness. So like what's in it for the user, and like how do we like make it really clear like that they can earn like rewards or like how does it really benefit them, right? I think I could have done like a better job of like being really clear and very explicit on like why they should care. Because like I think sometimes we just kind of think like, oh, maybe people want to care because like they want to be healthy, but it's like, oh yeah, sure, like that's cool, but maybe they need other things as well. And also like I think better memes and better design. Sorry, I mean I love our designs, but I think we can probably do better in terms of like memes. I am not very meming kind of person. I am not great at that, but I think I'm starting to become a little bit better and better, like just from experience. And I think like maybe just be a little bit more like conscious about like doing that. And sometimes it's actually like just taking on support or help from people who are better at it, whether it's like a volunteer or like someone from the community, or like maybe it's like a part-time paid position. I think that helps a lot. Just like creating more scarcity, which creates like desire for the product. And then also like for us, I think this is really big, which was we realized like small wins and big jackpots, because like we can't give out like super big prizes all the time, and so like we want to give out like a little bit of dopamine hits like throughout the gaming experience, and so like the whenever you open a treasure chest, there'll be things like, very small amounts of tokens, or like some raffle tickets. So you feel good every time you open it. But like not everyone's going to win like the $500, RWA Pokemon card, right? But someone might. But for the big jackpots is where like, when you play this game and you have like these raffle tickets, you can put it against like these like larger rewards as well. And then from ecosystem and execution perspective, like not all partners are created equally. So I would also say like, I think in early days, I was very gung-ho and very enthusiastic about like partnering with everybody. But sometimes like, some partners don't have a great reputation, or like they're just not really good for you. And so like pick your partners really importantly. Partnerships is like your acquisition strategy. Obviously like super team like Canada, like Monkey DAO, those are like extremely like SSS tier, partners. And definitely there are no equals. But yeah, like just be conscious about who you're partnering with, because also like you have a limited amount of time. So you want to focus on the right people. You also want to capture attention or momentum and get ready for the next big thing. Because I guess like maybe like timing just really worked out well for us, but we would move from like one thing to another in terms of like bigger and bigger exposure. So it's not like we were building this product and suddenly like we were featured by Solana Mobile. I think it was going from like building something small and then like getting promoted like Winter Arc, and then like participating in like Coliseum, et cetera, and just like slowly building. But I think it's good to like sort of like line up the pipeline for things to help you like amplify. And then like I think also one thing definitely would have changed if I did this again was like onboard community members much earlier. So like right now we onboarded like someone who's like helping me with growth and community maybe just about a month ago. But I should have onboarded him like a few months ago, because like he has done all this like many times, and he was also like a heavy user of like LootGo. And I think like it's cool like if you learn stuff yourself and experiment, of course, because you can internalize things a lot better. But also, if you can like, try to onboard someone who has more experience, because like you can go much faster and further together. So I guess like the TLDR, and then we can do questions, is like maybe if you want to get your first 100 users, like maybe start with your inner circle, like talk with people personally. Like I know it's not here because I mentioned it earlier, but also kind of know like where your target users are or who they might be. And then just make joining your product or using your product special. So like access codes, like private betas, these like special roles in Discord is also like kind of important to people. Like it's so funny because like I remember people were like getting upset that they weren't getting like these like roles early on. I'm like, oh, chill, bro, because like literally all you do for getting this role is just an access code. I already gave it to you. But people are like very very excited and passionate about it, right? And then like create like shareable moments, especially like where the user feels really good, because then they can like share it with your friends. They also like reward progress, like not specifically just the outcomes. And what I mean is like like having these like micro rewards is also really important, because I think that keeps people coming back. And then like experiment, because I learned a lot in the last year, but also like try to speed run this as much as possible, right? Like if you can, by bringing in people who like know what they're doing, and also like mentors and helpers, I think. Oh yeah, and so if you do want to try out LootGo, you can like scan this QR code, or you can find it in the Solana App Store, or iOS and Android. And you could use the invite code Seeker. It'll give you like a 20% bonus on raffle tickets. Like right now, we're featuring Collector Crypt, so you can get RWA Pokemon TCG. And it's pretty awesome. And then next week we're going to feature Monkey DAO and a lot of like Monkey Foundry projects as well, who some were in this room. And I think that's it. Do I have questions or QA, or is this okay? Cool. Thanks.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you for the talk. Really a lot of insights here. But I'm curious, how did you solve this initial chicken egg problem with partners and users? You had 0 users, 0 partners. Who did you get first? And how did it influence the other side of it?
Yeah.
Do you mind repeating the question just a little bit?
Okay, yeah, sure. The question was like, how do you solve this chicken and egg problem of like partners and users, right? Like especially if we leaned heavily into the partners. I think like there was like that like phase 0 of like building hype, but then even before that, I think by participating in the pitch competition, like it added some credibility, right? So it's not like completely zero. And I think by using that, like then we started saying like, oh, like we are building this thing, we don't have a product yet, but you know, we would love to run this like treasure hunt in like a few weeks, like to that partner. Sorry, to answer your question, we approach the partners first.
Okay.
So like we can line up like these like rewards and things. Like it doesn't have to be like super big rewards, but it was something. And then we, approach the users because now we can say like, oh, if you want to join this game, you can actually, get these kind of rewards.
So made a promise to the partner.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think the partners that we approached at that time was like obviously like much smaller. And then obviously like partners like it like grew in size as we went along. Yeah.
Thank you. That's the question.
Yes.
Hi, I have a question regarding your user interview.
Yeah.
Because I feel like for a lot of the product launches, it's hard to zoom in on who the target user looks like, right? What your user profile looks like. So when you're doing how did you identify that target user? And also when you're doing the interviews, were you jumping on a call with them? Were you asking them specific questions? If you can just kind of walk through that process.
Yeah. So for the interview itself, like I actually hopped on a call with them. So I talked to our first 100 users, like with some of them were like phone calls, some of them were video chats, and some of them were more like text chat because I have very limited Japanese, and so like I had to like do like real-time translations like for text instead of like actual phone call. But we tried to talk to everybody, and then the questions that we asked them were around like what they liked and didn't like about the product, like at the very super high level. But we were also very curious about like their motivations, like for using like our product and like, like what their backgrounds are. Because if we could find some sort of commonality, then like it's easier to approach people. And then also like it was also a way to find like more users to work with. Because one thing we noticed was like some of our early users was part of like this like Japanese community. And so like, we're like, oh, interesting. Like maybe like someone shared our link in the community. And so then it became easier to onboard more people there. But I think like we did have like this like this initial direction of like targeting more users in Asia, like because we saw from that pitch competition, like there was more engagement from users in Asia. I think it just resonated with them a little bit more than North America, for example.
So the first 100 users you got from the pitch competition, from then you interviewed all 100 users, and you found like where to find more people.
Yeah.
You mentioned that one of the things you would do differently is to bring on community members or community manager earlier on. Can you speak more on that and what you feel some specifications and roles that would have really helped accelerate?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So the question was like, bringing on a community, like what kind of roles would
you wish you kind of integrated earlier.
So like I guess like very very early days, like I kind of did like almost everything except for development. And like again, like my disclaimer at the very beginning was like I'm not really a marketing person, and so like I managed like our Discord, like our X, and like our emails, et cetera. And so like I learned a lot about Discord. And like I think one of the first things to do is actually build up like a better community. We chose Discord over Telegram, but to build up like a better engagement cycle for the community members. Because one of the things we did was like, oh, like if you're playing LootGo, like you can join our Discord and get the special roles, etc. But I kind of split my attention from like doing all these things and then like engaging them inside the Discord. But then when we got like our first Discord community mod, like it actually alleviated a lot of like my time to focus more on like acquiring more users as opposed to like retaining. I mean, I still check it from like time to time, like every week, but it was less like very like hands-on and like a hands-on manner. I think one of the benefits of like onboarding a community member to become a mod is actually like because like they're more known in the community, like they're already like chatting with people and they're showing like they're proactive and they like the product, then I think it also signals to the community that like, oh, if you're proactive and you do stuff, you can also like gain more better roles, and also like we recognize like your contribution. Yeah, so like I would have definitely done that like much earlier, because like I would say that we had one mod for like the last like four or 5 months, but then we onboarded like maybe like a few more, like like actually like with a 1 or 2 month gap. So I should have done that a little earlier. Yeah.
So how did you decide on who these mods were? Like, were these people from the community that you saw were being proactive, or people approached you?
Yeah. So the question was like, how do I decide like who the community mods were? Yeah, whether it's like people were proactive versus people who approached us. Yeah, like I have found that like talking to people who are very proactive in the community is probably like higher return, because like you've seen that they're very proactive. That's not to say that if someone approaches you and offers to be a mod, like don't take them. But we also had like trial periods with our mods to make sure like, oh, like, okay, this person is like actually doing stuff, they're proactive, and in doing so, like, oh, we will promote you. So we kind of had like a provisional like mod role, and then like, oh, now you're actually like a mod. Yeah. Are there any questions from in the chat? Okay.
So what would you say for your project was like that one event or partnership that brought in the most amount of users?
Oh, that's yeah. So I think like the one that brought in probably the most users is like our campaign with Bonk. Yeah, because we did a campaign with Bonk in July and also in September, and that brought in a lot of users, not only crypto users, but also users that were non-crypto. So apparently, like we really resonate with like Korean moms communities. Yeah, so like yeah, Korean moms, and so like yeah, so I think that was like our first sort of like taste of non-crypto users, which was like very, very interesting. Yeah, I think that was like very, very, very impactful.
So
Yeah.
is this like bonk.fun? Is that what you're talking about, or how is that related to the Korean moms? Wait, I'm confused.
Yeah, because we were giving out rewards, like bonk rewards inside the loot boxes. Yeah.
Bonk has pretty strong influence in Korea.
Yeah.
Okay, so they ended up with the Korean moms. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Question. How was your experience building trust and relationships with these potential partners? And how do you recommend somebody do that now?
Oh yeah, that's a really good question. So the question was like, how do you build up trust and reputation with partners, and how would they do it now? I think, I mean, I was kind of doxxed like since day one, and so like, I mean, I would like to say maybe because I'm just a very trustworthy and like very reputable person, maybe that's why like people trusted me, and yeah, I mean maybe that's to begin with, right? Like that's kind of like baseline, and then like when we approach partners, like I think. I was always thinking about like how, like what's in it for them, like how we can like help them, right? Because like even though we're like a very small project, like I mean actually we still kind of are, we were thinking of like how do we like bring more like exposure or more users and like more benefits to the partners themselves. And I think like having like coming up with that like approach or that attitude also builds a lot of trust, right? Because they know that like, oh, this person is actually thinking of my needs as opposed to like what's in it for them. Like I think I've learned a lot from that, because like nowadays like I get a lot of like cold DMs of people like wanting to collab. But then like they'll just say like, hey, like let's do a collab. I'm like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, okay. And then they're like, oh, do you have any ideas? And I'm like, oh, no, because you approached me. Like I literally don't even know what your product is. Like I mean, and I was open to it, right? But like I have no idea. And so like that kind of interaction immediately, like I have no trust in this person, right? Because yeah. But if this person, like even if they come from a smaller project, was like, oh, I want to do a collab. Here's my idea. Here's how it could benefit like the both of us. And here's like some of like the things that I've done before, or like a project our team has done before. Then that builds a lot of trust. And like I can think like, okay, like maybe I can do this right now, or even if I can't, like I'll just remember this person. Just being like very professional, because maybe there's just a very low bar like in terms of partnerships people. So yeah.
Any last questions?
Amazing. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks. I guess. Yeah. Just one more thing is that last sentence. It's just like. Yeah. I think like. Yeah. Don't be afraid of like experimentation, because like like I didn't know what the fuck I was doing like back in December. But like I just learned a lot by talking to people, and also like getting help from like mentors, right? Especially from Super Team, and that was like extremely impactful and life changing. Like very good inflection points. And also the treasure was the friends we made along the way, right? So yeah. So I think like just don't feel like completely overwhelmed. I mean, obviously, if you have a marketing background, then good for you. Then this is probably super easy for you. But for someone who's like this is completely new to me, like I think just like getting help and asking for it was like really important. And then just like experiment, but experiment really fast. Because like I think that's one of the things that's drilled into me is that like I'll create like a post which I think will be like really good, and then I make this like perfect post. And then, like, I mean, it slaps, but then that was it, right? And then I learned, oh no, actually I need to like constantly like, have more exposure for my post. So repeat the message so that people see it in case they didn't see it the first time. But yeah, I think a lot of things are learnable. And I think especially like taking part in these like startup villages and like also participating in like super teams, especially Super Team Canada, I think also helps a lot because like, they have the resources and the knowledge and also expertise and connections to help like the projects grow. So, oh yes.
I have a question with
Yeah.
the experiment.
Yeah.
Are you experiment organically, or are you also putting some money behind like ads, and if so, kind of what's the budget? What's the timeline that you're experimenting with?
Yeah, we haven't actually spent any money on like ads or marketing because like I think organic is probably a little bit better. I should always try to find like win-win sort of partnerships. But yeah, we haven't spent any money on marketing. But I guess the experiments is more just like different approaches that we take, like in messaging or like what channels and things like that. Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
That bit of knowledge at the end about getting out of your way and asking for help, being experimental, super critical. I think a lot of what it comes down to is a mindset of continuous learning and experimenting. So thank you, Ed. This was amazing. We will share the recording as well.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. Thanks for having me.